Amid rising concerns over privacy and political motives, the head of Google testifies before members of Congress. One America's Luke Glaze details a hearing.
Google CEO Sundar Pichai heads to Capitol Hill to testify about the leading search engine's apparent bias against conservatives. House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy kicked off the Judiciary Committee hearing Tuesday by impressing the significance of Google's role in the dissemination of information to the American people.
Competition, censorship, bias, and others point to one fundamental question that demands the nation's attention. Are America's technology companies serving as instruments of freedom or instruments of control?
In Pichai's opening statement, he acknowledged Google has grown to be a worldwide power, but claimed it remains loyal to the American principles of freedom.
Even as we expand into new markets, we never forget our American roots. It's no coincidence that a company dedicated to free flow of information was founded right here in the U.S. As an American company, we cherish the values and freedoms that have allowed us to grow and serve so many users.
However, Pichai said little to acknowledge the accusations of Google's algorithmic suppression of conservative voices and promotion of liberal propaganda, an issue he was grilled on repeatedly during the questioning period.
There's a very strong conviction on this side of the aisle that the algorithms are written with a bias against conservatives. The people on the other side don't agree with that because, of course, it benefits them.
I would strongly suggest that one of the crisis response tools that you use is in an investigation into the discourse of your employees on resisting the Trump presidency, resisting the Trump agenda, and then smothering some of the conservative outlets that seek to amplify that content.
After President Trump won, your co-founder, Mr. Brin, said, quote, "Most people here are pretty upset and pretty sad." Now, a lot of us seen the video. We saw how upset the top people at Google were. And for you to come in here and say there is no political bias in Google tells us you either are being dishonest, I don't want to think that, or you don't have a clue how politically biased Google is.
For their part, Democrat lawmakers did their best to paint the Republican concern about bias as groundless fear-mongering and spent their time primarily propping up Pichai's prepared statements. One of the most outspoken Democrats, New York Congressman Jerrold Nadler, dismissed the issue of bias entirely, calling it a fantasy dreamed up by conservatives. However, many online have noted a conflict of interest in his defense, as Nadler's top donor is Google's parent company Alphabet Incorporated. Meantime, other nations around the world are beginning to grow suspicious of Google's power as well. Just this week, the Australian government proposed establishing a watchdog to regulate how the search engine controls the news, raising concerns of bias and censorship, concerns voiced by President Trump months ago.
Look at social media. It's a thing called free speech rights. You look at Google, Facebook, Twitter, and other social media giants, and I've made it clear that we as a country cannot tolerate political censorship, blacklisting, and rigged search results. And you know, it can go the other way also.
Luke Glaze, One American News.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.